Hello out there, YouTube friends. I am Cindy and you are watching Sincerely Cindy Settle, and it is finally New Year's Eve, the end of 2020. Hopefully 2021 is going to be a better year for everybody because 2020 was surely a shit show. However, I did get to read some good books in 2020, and today I have my top 5 favorite books from 2020. As you guys know, I am not a fast reader. I don't read a lot of books throughout the year, about 2 to 3 a month. But I did find some that were great reads that I really enjoyed. So if you are a romance reader, most of these are romance, stick around and you will see what those top 5 books were. I only had 1 5-star, 1 4.5-star, and then 3 4-stars. I did put an honorable mention in here as well. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the honorable mention. And then we're going to go from number 5 and go all the way up to what my 5-star read was of the year. So the first book that I want to mention is A 5-Minute Life by Emma Scott. This was a good, solid 4-star read for me. It was just a unique storyline. It was very well written. Emma Scott does a fantastic job. She's just a beautiful writer, but it is a romance, and it focuses on a young lady who suffers from amnesia. She was in a car accident with her family, and her side effects of that car accident were that she has amnesia. So she is in a sanitarium where she only has memory for 5 minutes at a time. So she meets an orderly, I believe his name is Jim. Jim comes into the sanitarium, gets to know her story, and tries to offer her the best 5 minutes that he can. He's trying to trigger memories. He's trying to make new memories so that maybe at some point they can establish some sort of relationship. Because every 5 minutes she forgets what she feels for him. It reminds me of 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. It doesn't have the comedy, obviously, but that's kind of the premise of this story. So it was a unique storyline, so I did want to mention it as my honorable mention book. And then we have number 5 was Worth It by S.M. Shade. Now, this was a 4-star read for me, and it was just hee-haw, laugh out loud, funny. It is by S.M. Shade and C.M. Owens. I think that part of what made it such a good read for me and what made it a 4-star for me is the fact that it came at the right time. We had been in quarantine for a couple months. I read it over the summer, and it was just exactly what I needed at that time. So it is a rom-com, and it follows 3 best friends who are invited to one of the girls' ex-boyfriend's weddings. So anyway, the 3 of them go to this wedding. It's a destination wedding. So they go, a couple of them find love. They get into some shenanigans. The description of the book, and I'm just going to read this really quick. It says, there is a rogue prosthetic, an accidental exorcism, and dominatrix strippers. Dominatrix strippers. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the uniqueness and the funny parts of this book. So if you're looking for something that is a rom-com, that is laugh out loud funny, this is your book. I will post my full review in the card up above. I did do a full review of this one. I believe I put my likes and my dislikes in there in that review as well. So number 4 is Where the Blame Lies, and this is by Mia Sheridan. This one I just read recently, and there is also a review for this one as well, and I will link it up above. I love Mia Sheridan's writing. This was more of a romantic suspense. So there is an element of romance, but it's not too smutty. It's not too in your face. It focuses more on the suspense part. There's a crime that is committed. It is a copycat or similar to a crime in which Josie, who is our heroine in this one, sorry, I can't talk today. I promise I've not been drinking. Anyway, that she had been a victim to 10 years prior. And of course, the detective that is investigating the current case meets with Josie to get some details on the previous case. And so we learn more about those crimes. We learn more about Josie's history. We learn more about their relationship as we learn more about Zach's relationship. I think it's Zach. Yes, relationship as well. So this is actually a duet. I have not read the second book, but they can be read as a standalone. The second one is Where the Truth Lives. So I plan to read this one in the new year, and I'll make sure that I do a review for this one for you guys as well. So next up we have, Brittany C. Cherry. I don't know what you want me to say. She's just fantastic. Again, another beautiful writer. She writes beautiful books. The Air He Breathes is the first book of the Elements series. I actually had read book 2 first and then went back to read book 1. They are not linked in any way. They just have to do with the different elements. So it is a romance. That's my preferred genre, so sorry. But it is a romance. It is kind of an enemies to lovers. They both have some tragedy that happens. They find themselves figuring out how to cope and how to grieve together. And it's a beautiful story. And the ending kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but again, I did a full review of this one as well, and I will link that in the card as well. Number 2 was The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This was a 4.5 star for me. It was the very first book that I read of 2020, and it did not disappoint. It is a military romance, and it follows Beckett and Ella. If you're familiar with The Last Letter, Beckett receives the last letter from Ella's brother. So kind of asking Beckett to take care of Ella. She's a single mom trying to raise twins. Look out for her, help her out, do what you can. And then of course, things kind of develop and feelings develops from there. But it just grips you and takes your heart and just rips it out to where you're just sobbing, crying, and you just uncontrollable. Beautiful book. Read this book. If you don't read any of these other ones, read this one. Loved it. So my number 1 of the year was 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. Now, this I think was the second book that I read at the beginning of the year, and it was read as a buddy read for Reading Brings Us Together. And I don't know what it was about this book, but it just stays with me. It follows, and I forget their names. I always forget names. But it's college age romance, and it follows Allison and Espen. Allison is kind of a very quiet, kind of shy, kind of backwards. She grew up in foster care. She was eventually adopted by, a gay single man. And then Espen, kind of on the flip side, is kind of her polar opposite. He's like a social media star and does these different social experiments. So she accidentally gets drawn into this social experiment where she has to make eye contact with a stranger for 180 seconds without breaking contact. So those 180 seconds are immensely intense for her, and she kind of runs off and disappears. And anyway, it's a beautiful story. There are several different storylines that are interconnected. You have the love story of Espen and Allison. You have Allison and her best friend, and you have her best friend's story. You have the story of her and her adoptive father. So you learn a lot about the past and the present. You learn a lot about these other characters. There's just a lot going on, but it's all very clear. It's all very interwoven beautifully, and it all concludes beautifully as well. So again, my top book of the year, oh, and I have it. My top book of the year was 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. I recommend that you read it if you have not read it before. I had read Jessica Park before, but this one by far surpassed the other one that I read, and the other one was Flat Out Love. It was good too, but I loved this one even more. So I loved the unique social experiment, how all of this relationship started, and how I just loved it. It was just so unique and so fun. Everything was interwoven beautifully, and I can't recommend this book enough. It is my only 5-star read of the year. So if you're looking for a good romance to read, you like college age, I recommend this book. So that is all that I have for you for now. I am shooting this on a new camera and a new ring light, so I'm hoping that the footage is good, and I'm hoping that we can make some improvements to my channel. I have some fun things coming in 2021, so if you have not subscribed yet, I hope that you will subscribe, like, and always share this video. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And I am Cindy Settle. I'm signing off. Mwah.